Hi guys, this is Kayla Cox with The Unfiltered Lens, and today I'm here with...
Gabby Main, co-owner of Happy Hour Donuts.
All right, and so would you like to tell us a little bit about your guys' story?
Yeah, so my husband and I started Happy Hour Donuts back in technically July of 2020. In March of 2020, we had both lost our jobs when COVID started.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the wedding industry and he was a personal trainer. And then in July, we were driving up to Denver because this was like a time where it was really, really hard to get gym equipment.
Okay.
And my husband, personal trainer, is like, he was like dying at home trying to just work
out.
Yeah,
like, all the gyms were closed.
All the gyms were closed. There was no gym equipment you could buy anywhere. So we found a barbell off of Facebook Marketplace that was, I think, in Arvada. So it was like an hour and a half away. And on the way back, I wanted to stop by Krispy Kreme because that was before we had one in town. So I was like, okay, let's go stop and get donuts. And my husband was like, no, like, I'm not really in the mood for donuts. And I was like, what are you talking about? But so I was really mad at him because he wouldn't let me stop to get donuts. On the whole ride home, I was telling him about how, you know what, I'm just going to make my own donuts. I'm going to make donuts that are better than Krispy Kreme. And we're going to eventually open a donut shop because, like, we were both unemployed. COVID was happening. Yeah. Like, nobody knew what was going on.
Well, everything was just kind of, like, surreal when COVID hit. Because it was like, how do we, like, we don't have jobs, and, like, what do we...
And everyone is just kind of, like, stuck at home. And we're like, okay, like, what do we do now? So I started making donuts the very next day. And they were awful. Like, literally the worst donuts you can imagine. Like, they were as hard as a rock. If you were to try and, like, eat them, you'd probably break a tooth. Like, they came out horrible.
Oh my goodness.
And then I was just like, like, I wanted to keep going with it. And I was like, like, I had a really bad experience with my previous employer who let me go.
Okay.
And I was like, I just want to work for myself. Like, I don't care what I do. Exactly. I just want to work for myself. Like, I don't want to have my future in someone else's hands like that again. And then, like, something like COVID happens and they just let you go and don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep trying with this and keep going. And we kept making donuts for a few more months. And I knew I wanted to make, like, boozy donuts, like alcoholic ones, because I'd never heard of that before.
Okay, yeah, I know. I was gonna say, like, when I heard of your guys' company, I was just like, yeah. I was telling my parents about it, and they were like, really?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. I don't know, because I guess it's in the. Is it in the icing?
It's in the So all of the alcohol is in the glaze and the frosting, so it's not cooked out.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, how is it? If it's cooked out? I was like,
so it's not cooked out. And the reason that we wanted to make them boozy is because I had heard of boozy cupcakes before. I'd never heard of donuts.
Okay.
And I was like, I feel like this could actually be a really good idea.
I think it is wonderful.
Yeah. So my cousin actually came up with the name Happy Hour Donuts, which like, she was awesome for that. So then we officially opened October of 2020 of just, like, doing online deliveries, and every Sunday we would make a new box of, like, 3 different flavors and just offer to deliver to people who live in the Springs.
Yeah.
So we did deliveries every single Sunday. I think it was for like 9 months straight. And then we started getting people who wanted us to cater for their wedding. And then we started getting, like, coffee shops and other small boutique places who wanted us to, like, just pop up and sell our donuts at their store. Mm-hmm. So we started doing that.
So it's been about 4 years since you guys officially started.
Yes, just about, I would say next month. Yeah, next month would be 4 years, which is literally insane.
And you guys now have your own shop?
Yes, so now we just opened our shop. We worked literally, like, doing farmers markets, weddings, catering.
Out of your house? That has
out of our apartment, yeah. So it was an 800 square foot apartment that we would literally sell thousands and thousands of donuts out of. But July of last year, we got the keys to our space, and it was used to be an old Dunkin' Donuts. So I had this whole series on TikTok and Instagram about renovating an old Dunkin' Donuts into our dream donut shop, and that, like, blew up. We got so many followers from that. It's insane.
Goodness.
But then we just had, like, delays after delays with our kitchen setup and everything, and we were supposed to be originally we were supposed to be open in October, and we didn't actually end up opening until May.
Okay. I mean, it happens. I feel like with everything, like construction-wise, getting everything approved.
Yes. It is delay after delay.
And it's not even with restaurants, like with everything now. And that's why everything has been taking so long. Yep. So at least, and that has to make it hard because it's like you're so excited to open the shop, but now this is set behind. Like this is set behind. And like literally blah, blah, blah.
We would have people asking us like, when are you opening every single day? And I was like, I can't give you a date. Like I have no idea. I should know, and I have no clue at all. So
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, what was like when you guys were starting this and you guys were like, we want to make donuts, like we want to start this business, and how long do you like, because you had to have felt like you hit a wall sometimes, like either baking or like finding customers or selling out or making money. How many times, like, what was your mindset going through all of these, like when you hit a wall?
There have been 2 times where I really felt like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I want to quit. The first time was when it was at the very beginning. We were only making cake donuts at the time. And I had gotten I would always ask for customer feedback. I had gotten 2 customers who came back and said that they hated the donuts and they threw them in the trash.
Oh my gosh.
And literally I had a mental breakdown. I was like, why am I even doing this? Our donuts are trash. Like, this is awful. And then, so that was the first one. And after that happened, I wanted to quit. And my husband Ryan was like, no, it's okay. Like, just kind of breathe it out. You'll be fine. And then I decided to make yeast donuts instead, which are like the normal, like soft melt in your mouth type donuts. And I focused on making that. That took me 2 months to get our recipe down for that. And as soon as I started making that, everyone loved them. Like, then our business just boomed from there. And I was like, okay, so this is what I had to do. Okay. I just was making the wrong type of donut. Excuse me. So that happened. And then the other time where I like really hit a wall was actually like end of April, when we finally were able to get into our kitchen in our new location. I have all of this brand new equipment that's supposed to help make your donuts better and do everything
faster.
Yeah. And like, if you're a baker or probably even a chef, I have no idea. If you go into a new kitchen, it's like starting over. It's like starting everything over, your whole process over. You have to learn how to use a big mixer, a proofer, a fryer.
Yeah.
And it was 2 weeks of me just every single day trying to figure out like why my donuts are not working, and like thinking something's wrong with my recipe, or it's the wrong oil I'm using, or our proofer isn't set to like the right thermostat or whatever. And it's just like, that was like 2 weeks of hell. And then I was just like crying to Ryan every day, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm doing this. Why did we get this shop? I can't figure this out.
It seems like Ryan was very, like, he seems to be very positive, and was so positive. Very much so helped you.
I am so emotional, like, and I think I just have like such an emotional tie to our business, because it's like, this is something, like, I'm the baker person, like, I'm the one who creates the dough and everything, and then he does the frying and glazing and stuff. So I think, like, I just have a very emotional tie to it.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas he's a lot more level-headed and positive. Like, no, you'll figure it out. It's going to be okay. Like, it's going to be okay. Where I'm just like, oh, my gosh, the world is ending. Like, if I can't figure this out, this is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, yeah. And so, obviously, you hit those walls, but you just kept trying, and maybe you just were super frustrated, and you're like, I'm never going to figure this out. But it took you time, and you eventually figured it out.
Yeah.
And everything was okay.
Yes.
And even after everything kept getting pushed back, I just think it's amazing that you guys like started during COVID, and now you're here.
Right.
It's just awesome.
Yeah. Like, who would have thought? Like 4 years ago.
I know. Well, like, if you were talking to yourself 4 years ago, like, she would probably be shocked.
Oh, easily. Because like 4 years ago, I was such a different person, and I was working at this job where it's like, I let this job just like run me into the ground, and I thought I was like, I wouldn't be anything better than what the current position I was at, and I had a very toxic management, and it's just like, they made you feel like, excuse me, like if you're in the industry, like if you're in the wedding industry, they made you feel like you couldn't do anything without that management. Like, I don't know how to explain it really well, but very toxic.
Yeah.
And it was just like, they just like broke you down mentally. So when I got let go, I was like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do right now. Like, I don't even know who I am as a person without this job. So it was like a very empty feeling. So like the first part of COVID, where like they let me go, but they kept other people on, it was so like disheartening, and I was really lost. And I was just like, I don't even know who I am at this point anymore.
Because I guarantee plenty of people, like, after COVID were in your same exact position.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, like, at least your story is the only one that I know that people were like, I'm bored. I'm going to start baking and I'm going to start my own business.
Yeah.
And so I think that was, like, you got the career, even though you were kind of, like, in this stump that you were like, well, I don't know. Like, what now? What am I supposed to do? Yeah. Like, that job may have been really, like, harsh on you, but it was like, this is what I had and this is what I was doing, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it was gone, and then, but it was like a total blessing in disguise, because then I was actually able to like find myself again, like become my own person again, and then I was able to put myself into a position where I could just work for myself and not have to answer to anyone but my husband, because he's my co-owner. But it's like, it was so like freeing and fulfilling to open a business and to just work for yourself and not have to worry about, oh, what is this person going to think? Or what is this person going to think? Or is today the day that I'm going to get fired for this? Like, I can't fire myself.
Well, and it can be really discouraging, because it's like it took you guys 4 years to get your own shop. And now obviously you have your own space. You have where customers can just come in like whenever they please, whatever. Yeah. But that took time. So I guarantee it was just like, you know, it's very discouraging that now you are your own boss and you can do what you want, but it's like you're the boss. Like you and your husband are the boss, so you have to take care of everything.
Yes, and it's like it's exhausting. We've been open. I think we're on officially week 5 now, and I am so exhausted, so tired.
I just love looking at your guys' like Instagram story, and you're like sold out, and I'm like, I swear I just woke up.
Right? Yeah, I mean, we've had to switch over to a new schedule of like waking up at like midnight or 1 a.m. and then the shop is open from like 7:30 to 2. So it's just like
constant. You're just constantly
I am at the shop most of the day, and then I go home, I eat my dinner at like 3-4 o'clock, and I go to bed. And like that is my new schedule.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's totally fine. Totally worth it, but it's just like such a change of pace from what we were used to.
Oh yeah.
But having the shop open has been like absolutely incredible. Yeah. Like, you definitely have your hard days. You definitely have your days of like you're questioning literally every single thing that you're doing. But like we're already getting like loyal customers who come see us weekly, multiple times a week.
That's awesome.
We get people who are just like the nicest people in the world, who just like will drive. Literally, like yesterday, I had people who were driving to us. So we're like Northwest Colorado Springs. So we're like kind of Woodman I-25 area. Okay. And I had people who were like, yeah, I drove from Manitou for you guys. Or I drove from Fountain to you guys, which is like a good 30-minute drive. Yeah. And I'm just like, that is insane that people are willing to drive like that much just to try our donuts.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's amazing. So it's
it's got to be like a you're just feeling like you guys made it. Like you guys did something, and people are driving from wherever they are to come have your donuts.
I will say, I don't think I have that like I've made it feeling yet. Yeah. I think I kind of did. So like the day that we did our grand opening, we made 800 donuts, sold out of 800 donuts.
Oh my gosh.
The line for people to try our donuts was, so we're in like a plaza.
Okay.
It was down the plaza block and to the side. And the line stayed like that for 2.5 hours straight.
That had to be like, that was some crazy click in your brain though.
But it was amazing. But Ryan was up front with my uncle and my cousin. They were running the shop. I was still in the back kitchen because I had to make donuts for a wedding, 300 donuts for a wedding that day, same day. So we made 1,100 donuts that day. And
Holy
I think
cow.
we started baking at like 9 o'clock the night before and almost pulled 24-hour shift. Like, it was insane.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, and I just can't believe, like, because I feel like a lot of people that may have, like, COVID hit, and they're sitting there and they're like, oh, maybe I could do this, or maybe I could do this. But you guys, it took you 4 years to build this empire that you guys have.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't stick with it.
Yeah.
They try to do something, and then it's like, this is too hard, or there's too many hours, or I'm not getting results that I want,
Yeah.
and they just like quit. What would you say to someone that was kind of in that
situation? I guess I would say, you know, like as tough as it is, just keep going. Like there were a lot of moments where I was like, oh, we're not selling enough, or oh, like this is too exhausting. Like why are we waking up at 2 a.m. on a Saturday to do this when we could just be like normal people and not have to do this?
Yeah.
But I think for us, we knew we had a good idea, we knew we had a good product, and I just had such determination of like, I have this goal in mind. I want to open this shop. Like, I don't want to make donuts in our apartment for the next 20 years.
Yeah,
like, that's not my goal.
Yeah, especially for like weddings and big catering.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't want to keep doing this. Like, I want to have a home again. So it was just like the determination of like, you know, like I have this idea in mind, and I'm really big into like manifestation.
Yeah.
So like I'm always manifesting like, okay, we're going to open the shop. We're going to do this. Like I'm putting it out there. We're going to do this. It's going to happen. And it did. And it's just like, I really believe in that, like just saying out what you want and really believing that it will happen, and it will.
Yeah.
But it's hard work. Like you can't just stop when you don't think that you're doing enough, or you don't have enough, like you're not having enough sales, or you're not having enough traction with it. Like you just got to keep pushing through when you don't want to.
Yeah. Well, and you guys even like obviously making all the donuts, getting the shop ready, like things like that. All of that has been happening, and then you guys also have been like flourishing on social media.
Yeah.
You guys post consistently. You're keeping your
we
followers
try to.
updated. You're keeping them even when you wake up super early for these long days.
Yeah.
Like you guys are still being consistent on social media.
Yeah.
So everybody, you know, that maybe isn't close, and maybe they have a trip to Colorado and they see this donut place on social media, and they're like, we want to go there when we're like.
So we literally. So the thing that we're doing now is we're like getting not really big on TikTok lives, but we're doing lives. Like we're just going live on TikTok where when we're glazing donuts, when the shop is open. And we'll be getting like 150, 200 people watching us just the entire day. Like yesterday, I think I was on live for like 9 hours straight. Like it was a whole shift that people are just watching us like, okay, well, this is them making the donuts. So here's them glazing. Here's them opening the shop.
That's crazy.
And people will find us on our lives. Like I've had at least 4 customers find us on TikTok because they scrolled through our lives and they're like, wait, you're in Colorado Springs? And then came into our shop because of that.
Oh my gosh.
And then I've had people, there was this one couple who they are like an RV couple. So they just travel the US in their RV. And she messaged me and she's like, hey, I just want to let you know I'm actually going to be in on this date. We're an RV couple and we came to Colorado just for you. We've never been to the States, so we're coming to Colorado Springs just to try your donuts.
That's awesome.
And that was so cool. I was like, this is crazy that people are just coming in just to try it. It's like coming to the state just to try this is insane.
Well, and do you guys get like, do you have a lot of people that come in that find your social media and kind of follow from there, or is it kind of
it's a mix of both? So I have quite a few people who are like, oh my gosh, I've been following you for years, and they'll come in. Like I had one girl, she was so sweet. She comes in and she's like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm kind of fangirling right now because I'm actually seeing you in person. And I was like, dude, I'm totally normal, like don't worry about it. And she's like, no, I'm completely fangirling, I've been watching you for like years. So we have like those people who are like, oh my gosh, I actually am seeing you outside of my phone, like I can actually see who you are. We've had people who I've had someone who was like, oh, they walked in and I was like, oh, have you ever been here before? And they're like, no, we haven't been to the shop, but you actually made donuts for our daughter's birthday the past 2 years. And we just delivered to them. And I was like, I had no idea. That's amazing.
Oh my goodness.
So, or I have people who are like, yeah, you used to deliver donuts to our house way back, like when you used to do that. Goodness. So it's so cool to like see that. And then where we are in, like, we have a really good location where we're in like a bunch of neighborhoods and everything. So a lot of people don't know who we are and they just come in because we're just in a great location for it. But yeah, we get a mix of like all three of like people who I've delivered to before, people who I've done their weddings before who just come in now
oh my goodness.
And just come into the shop and get more donuts. Like it's insane. It's crazy.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what is like something that you guys hope to accomplish in the future?
I mean, definitely just keeping the store successful and open. That's obviously number one.
Yes.
I think eventually we would love to be in a position to hire so that we don't have to be the ones baking every single day. And then I think eventually, like, we would love to open up, this is years down the road, but we would love to open up more locations. I think both my husband and I agree, like, we're not just a one and done location, hopefully. Like, we would love to open up more and expand into maybe different parts of Colorado. But right now, we're just kind of focusing on just making sure that everyone who comes into our shop feels welcome, that people enjoy our donuts, enjoy our story, enjoy just the vibe of the shop.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're just trying to grow that as much as we can.
I think you guys have done an absolute great job of that. And I can't wait to come down. But what is, like, something, if I was sitting here and I wanted to start, like, my podcast, it's fairly new.
Yeah.
And, you know, if anybody is sitting there starting their own thing and they're like, you know, I've been doing this for a little while, but it's not, like, nothing's really happening yet. I'm not seeing much.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to them?
My biggest advice, get on social media. Get on Instagram, get on TikTok, and be extremely personable.
Okay.
I was on Instagram. I had our business on Instagram for probably about 2 years before we really started gaining traction with it.
Okay.
And, like, one of the biggest things I can tell you is your business on Instagram, if it's your profile picture, if it's just a picture of your logo, change it to a picture of yourself. Okay. So for us, it used to be a picture of our logo. Now it's a picture of Brian and I making donuts, right?
Okay.
And the biggest thing I can say is be extremely personable. So, like, I have this thing on Instagram where I call it a Monday update, where I'm always posting on stories every Monday, like, hey, this is the update with the shop, or this is the update, or this is just how we're feeling, right? Okay. And I'm always just talking to the camera. And people love that because people love to buy into a person's story rather than their business.
Yeah.
So, and I think the reason that we got so many followers on TikTok and Instagram is because I started doing the renovation series, and I was so personable about it, and, like, just showing videos of us or just showing, like, what it looks like, and people just love to watch the actual story, not the business.
No,
if that makes sense.
Like, you're an actual human. Like, she's like, that one girl said she's fangirling, and you're like, I'm just a regular human.
Yes.
Like,
but it's like people feel like they know you. Because, like, you're so personable on social media that people feel like they come in and they're like, oh my gosh, like, you're exactly the same person. Like, they feel almost like invested into you.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. And also, like, don't go on your social media and just sell. Like, if I were to have our social media, like, I can't just post a picture of a donut every day and expect people to enjoy that content.
Yeah.
Like, you always have to be doing new content, but I don't even really post about our donuts. I post about us. Like, I post about me and my husband.
Yeah.
So there's very rarely where I ever actually post our donuts. And it's like people who come to see us from social media mostly come to see us for us and then for our donuts because they know us more.
Well, that's awesome. And that's got to be something that, like, holds a place in your heart, that people are also, like, enjoying the people that you are. Yeah. And they're like, these people are awesome. We want to go try their business out. And I think you guys have built an awesome name for yourself.
Thank you.
But thank you so much for coming on here today.
Thank you for having me.